Well, my name is Nick Skeeler and I'm the Brexit Party's prospective parliamentary candidate for the constituency of York Outer. I'm not in Yorkshire today. I'm actually having a few days break on Lundy Island, which, if you've not heard of it, is an offshore island, a beautiful 3-mile long island off the coast of Devon. It's a great place to chill out and to think. When I booked the break with some friends, I had no idea that by this time, by October, I'd be involved in the world of politics. And although 4G is very difficult here, I have managed to keep up with what's happening in Parliament. What shenanigans. My goodness, how we need a general election. What I want to talk about today is British values. There is no question that we have been lied to. We've had fear-mongering, we've had duplicitous politicians, we've had politicians change sides. The standards that have prevailed in Parliament over the last 3¼ years have appalled many of us. And what a sharp contrast that is with some of our great politicians of the past. Behind me there is a bust of William Gladstone, who was a Prime Minister 4 times during the 19th century. Actually was in Parliament for more than 60 years and served both as Chancellor of the Exchequer and as PM 4 times. He was regarded with great affection by the people. And of course, if you know your history, the Victorian era was a time of immense change and progress in Britain. The politicians of that era, many of them had faith and they had very strong Christian values. William Gladstone was one of those. In 2015, I was involved in a parliamentary consultation, to give it a sort of grand title, but basically I was invited to join 21 other Christian leaders in a meeting chaired by Lord Alton of Liverpool to draft a document which would summarise the nature of British values. And at the time, I think it was David Cameron wanted something from the faith community that would describe what was the essence, what was the core of the British values that our government often talks about. It was the late Dennis Wrigley of the Maranatha community in Manchester who invited me to become involved. And this is the document that the Maranatha community published and which was sent to number 10 Downing Street and presented also at Buckingham Palace. The characteristics of our British national identity. We affirm the fundamental British values of democracy, rule of law, equality of every human being before the law, freedom of speech and the rights of all men and women to live free from persecution. We affirm as a matter of principle and of historical record that these values originate from Judeo-Christian belief, thought and practice, which have been foundational in these islands. As such, these values have been recognised worldwide as defining our national identity. The central value in British history and culture derived from our Judeo-Christian foundations is that every human being is created by God of infinite worth and with unique purpose and destiny. Therefore, every man, woman and child is entitled to respect, care, consideration and protection. Our values relating to our personal and corporate life are given substance and first learned in the family, the original and enduring building block of our society, where mother and father are duly honoured as the primary educators. Our values embrace respect for the rule of law and equality of all before the law, together with freedom of speech, debate, conscience and religion. Equity has a long and illustrious pedigree for which the 800th anniversary of Magna Carta was a timely reminder. Our values embrace the utmost respect for human life and the well-being of others, compassion and care for the vulnerable, hospitality and mutual interdependence. Our values derive from the belief that we are all responsible and accountable for our actions, recognising that there are consequences to all that we say and do. Our values encourage every person to seek the common good over and above personal gain, never insisting on our human rights at the expense of our social responsibilities. Our values are evidenced in mutual trust, faithfulness and integrity. Our word is our bond, within all relationships from the home to the marketplace, in civil society and in government. These are complemented by the attitudes of courtesy, compassion and modesty. Our values applaud and encourage the virtues of commitment to hard work, steadfastness and reliability, in addition to consideration towards the feelings of others. British history clearly authenticates the role and benefits of Christian teaching and practice. This is evidenced in the struggles to establish the rule of law and to defeat slavery and the slave trade, the establishment of the rights of conscience, and the consistent opposition to intimidation, coercion, corruption, tyranny, and oppression, the founding of numerous charitable institutions, and the upholding of human dignity through the provision of education, healthcare, and welfare. The essential recognition of the spiritual dimension of life provides the clear principles that lead to the honouring of others, irrespective of their personal beliefs. These values bring hope for all people, because they reflect the character of the Creator and the created order. We seek actively to promote these values now as fundamental to the health of our national life, and to teach and transmit to future generations their validity and their origin in the Judeo-Christian foundations of our culture. We call upon people of all faiths and none to subscribe to these values and to affirm and confirm them in daily life, general profession, teaching, and government. So whether you're a person of faith, of no faith, a different faith, actually it's pretty hard to argue with the contents of that document, because it sets a benchmark, a standard of behaviour, morality, a way of being and behaving in public and in private life, which quite frankly many of our present politicians fail to measure up to. And I think what's needed is a new breed of politician, people who have those kind of values and actually want to come into government to bring something and to serve rather than to take. So it is time to change politics for good. If you vote the same way as you voted last time, the chances are you are going to get the same kind of government. It's time to change politics for good. Well, I'm ready. I hope you're ready too.